Hey yo, what up? It's your boy Fudo coming back at you with another podcast. We're back, boys. But no, for real, we're back with another podcast. It's me, and we got Atro, the lovable German. Say
Hi.
hello. And we got Bathlad
Ooh, hi.
200, Mathman 200, the legend. Say hello.
Hello, hello.
Oh, hello. Oh man, you're kind of quiet. Hold on, I'm gonna turn you up actually.
Being quiet? What?
Yeah, I think I
Yeah, you are kinda
turned you
quiet.
really far down the other night. Anyway, Ryuk's Apples is nowhere to be found today, so it's just gonna be us three. And yeah, this episode is gonna be about the new content. They added a new killer, the
Hell yeah.
clown, and they made some balance changes. They got rid of vacuum pallets, and they also tweaked the length of some of the pallet loops, which is pretty fucking sweet, if you ask me.
And they removed vacuum pickup as well. That's another good
Yeah. These
Yeah.
are
one. Flashlights are a little more useful than nothing
yeah.
in certain areas.
Killers can no longer just like slurp survivors out of that pallet.
Yeah, on top of like strategically going down in a pallet is actually useful now rather than being completely shit. But anyway,
Yeah, and worthless.
where do you guys want to get started? Do you guys just want to start out with the clown? We could just talk about the new killer. I mean, that's probably like the most exciting thing is the new content, right?
Yeah, from the easiest thing.
Yeah. So they added a
Like,
killer called the clown.
He's
You know
a
what?
fat bastard.
Yeah, he is a fat shit, isn't he? But no body shaming, okay? He can be as fat as he wants to be. I'll pull him
Yes,
up
this
on
is a fat
screen or
acceptance
whatever.
podcast.
That's right. We don't body shame around here. Atro.
We support every body
Atro.
type here.
Anyway, the clown is basically the new killer. His ability is the afterpiece tonic. Did you want to talk about it, Atro? I think you had a lot to say about the clown, right?
Dude, I love the clown. He's like, it's amazing.
Dude,
He's fun to play. I don't know how unfun he is to play against. I haven't really had survivors tell me to kill myself yet because I'm playing clown. So
no,
I think that's
he's
upside.
actually fun. I find it fun playing clown because it adds like a whole new depth to the mind game that there usually is, you know?
Exactly, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
It's,
Sorry, I was just gonna say a quick rundown of basically what he does. He has bottles that he throws of like poison, tonic or whatever the fuck, and basically he chucks them. He like lobs them, and when they land, they explode in like a gas cloud. And if the survivor goes through that gas cloud, they get slowed and they get like blurry vision, and it lasts for like a couple seconds. So basically, he's like another killer with like a throwable. He refills his bottle. He carries 4 at a time. He refills them just by pressing the control key, and it takes like 5 seconds to refill. And yeah, it seems like his ability is mainly used as like an area denial type thing. He's really interesting because he can play pallets in a way where you like deny half the area. Like for instance, I think the best way I've seen him use, and the best way I've found to use him so far, is that if you get to a survivor while they're about to loop a pallet, you can like bomb half of the pallet loop with the gas and then chase them around, and they're either forced to drop the pallet immediately, or if they try to loop, they'll have to walk through the gas and get slowed, and then you get a free hit on them. It's pretty fucking cool, honestly. It adds like a whole new I don't even like a whole new mechanic, like a whole new depth to like trying to mind game at pallets, you know what I mean? It's no longer just running in circles with him. It's like running in circles and also trying to look out for his gas cloud, and you know, you're as the clown, you're trying to position your gas clown. I like him. I think he's cool.
I like them a lot too.
What I really like about the clown, for one, is he's not like forced to one playstyle. He has a very versatile power, so you can use the power to deny area. You can use it to try and funnel survivors into more favorable positions for you as the killer, but you can also try and use it very aggressively if you chase someone. You can try to, since you're basically not being penalized for charging up the power, which is actually something that I don't think a lot of people know.
Yeah,
even
that's
though
a really
it was
important.
like in the patch notes, because unlike basically every other killer in the game, holding down your power, like charging it up, you still move at normal killer speed. You're still gonna catch up to them, so you
Yeah,
can take
that's-
all the time you want to hit that bottle.
Yeah, that's huge. I think you're right. I don't think any other killer in the game is like that. I think every single other killer, whenever they're using their ability, like Billy Chainsaw, Huntress Hatchet, I think every other ability in the game will slow you down while you're doing it, or like at least holding it. Yeah, and his doesn't, which is really interesting. You know, you can straight up chase people while aiming up your bottle the entire time, and you'll still catch up to them. It's pretty cool.
Doesn't the bottle slow you down ever so slightly? Like, isn't it like
It
3.84? Like,
I was gonna say
less than.
yeah. It slows you down once you lob it. That's when it slows you.
Oh, okay. But like actually like holding it and aiming it up and shit
Yes.
doesn't. Gotcha.
It doesn't slow you down.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty
So-
crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah. You got all the time you want to aim the bottle and hit it.
Yeah, and
And
it also flies like he like lobs it, like he throws it up into the air. So like wherever you're aiming, he'll chuck it like up. And I found that if you like just look down with him, like if you look down, like obviously if you're looking like straight at the ground, he'll throw it up, and you know up when you're looking straight at the ground is like straight in front of you. So you can basically line drive motherfuckers if you like look straight down. It's pretty crazy. I've been doing that a lot as clown myself. You just look down and then just peg people in the head with bottles. It's pretty cool. I like it.
one thing I wish though is because hitting people with the bottle gives you bonus points and it makes the blurred vision effect stronger. I think it wouldn't be too bad to reward players who hit the bottle directly a little bit more by maybe increasing the slow for just half a second or the duration
Yeah,
of the slow.
Yeah, I think that'd be nice. Like he has the add-on or whatever that makes them exposed when he directs hits them, but I don't think that's enough. I agree. I think like even without that add-on, you should be rewarded a little bit for having such precise aim. You know?
Yeah, because it's hard. Hitting them on the head with a bottle, like from anywhere but pretty much point blank range, is hard.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not at all. It doesn't at all like function like a hunter's hatchet. You have to take into account like actual lobbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it takes a minute to get there too. Like even if you like hold it down the whole way, then like like even if you do what I
But,
said, where you look down and line right, it takes a minute to get there. You know, like it's not like
Yeah.
fast like the Huntress.
So yeah, that's what I was basically saying. You can either try and hit the bottles. You can either try and hit them directly with the bottle to catch up to them quicker, or you can just keep your bottle until they like go into a window, and when you know okay they're gonna go for that window, you chuck the bottle at the window, and then they have a choice. This is why you really like. This is why I think he's also probably pretty fun to play against or very engaging because once he gasses that window, you have a choice. You either don't take that window or you take the forced slow vault because when you're coughing and you vault, it's always going to be a slow vault. But you know you're going to be at the other side of the window.
Yeah,
which,
it's
you know.
really interesting. It puts you in like situations where you really have to like, I don't know, man. It's not like the basic game anymore where you just run the same loops and don't even use your brain. It really makes you think. I like it.
Yeah, you know. Just kind of sad that doesn't matter that much because sprint burst and decisive strike still exist. But hey, I don't wanna divert.
It
from
always
the topic
comes
too
back.
much.
It always comes back. The old Sprinto Bursto, dude. Every time.
Sprinto Bursto.
If we're gonna
Oh,
get into
boy.
this, we should probably first get into like the changes or whatever. I think we can talk about what else
let's
should have been
first-
changed first or at the end. But
But before we finish up the clone, I think we should at least read the perks and just give our short opinions on them.
oh yeah, for
But I
sure,
guess
man.
our short opinions on 2 out of 3 perks.
Fuck Bamboozle.
Do you want me to read them, Tofu?
Yeah. I literally knew a game,
Alright.
so go ahead.
Let's start with the worst one, probably the most underwhelming one, which is Coulrophobia. I think I pronounced that right. Your presence alone instills great fear. Survivors within your terror radius have 30, 40, 50% penalty to healing progression speed.
Yeah, that
Pretty
one's
basic.
that one's weird. Like it's only in your heartbeat range, right? So people in your heartbeat
Yep.
range heal slower. I just like my thing is like, why would you want that over like Nurse's Calling, where you could just see them healing? I mean, I guess if you have a huge heartbeat, if you're running like that doctor build where your heartbeat's like the size of fucking goddamn Texas or whatever, and you have the heartbeat range cover the whole map, then I guess that would be pretty fucking obnoxious, sure. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that worth on even in a build like that. I still don't think it's worth it. In a build like that, you're gonna want distressing, unnerving. There's so many other things that you're gonna want that isn't that perk. You know, I just don't get what the point of it is, to be honest.
You know, want to know what's funky about Chirophobia?
What's that?
And this is something that's it's just inconsistency. When they updated the Doctor, they said that snapping out of it is counted by the game as healing, which is why he's going to be able to see you while you're snapping out of it with Nurse's Calling. But Chirophobia doesn't increase how long you have to snap out of it. So, could have been a good perk on the Doctor, but it just, you know,
Like,
killed before it.
Absolute cancer, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad.
That Doctor would have been even worse than he is to play right now, and doing the last 3 gen would be that much more stressful and impossible because snap out of it would take 24 seconds instead of 12. I don't know about you, but I don't like snapping out of it.
Wait, I thought it adds 50% more, not 100% more.
No. That's not
50%.
DVD multipliers.
Yeah, that's
negative
not DVD math, my friend.
multipliers is you take healing, you divide it by the number. That's DVD math. So if you have two 50%, you go down to 0.75. It'll take you 48 seconds to snap out of it.
That's really dumb.
Yes, this is why we can complain to the clean because he says this system is fantastic and I say it's terrible.
Well, yeah.
I will forever argue it because like the issue is like imagine sitting there snapping out of it for 48 seconds. It's pretty
Yeah,
terrible.
I'm just saying it's kind of funky.
Yeah,
But
so
I don't support it being a thing.
I hope all of Doctor's snap out of it goes away from healing because positive effects on healing are so much less impactful than negative. Yet negatives are like 3 times the value. You know, like. Botany is 20%, so it affects it by 20%. And then you have like all these negative that are like, you know, I get negative 50% here, you know, negative 50% here. You know, one day we'll just be at 0.
Yeah, I don't. I hate the whole like they seem to keep adding things like that, like random like heals are now slower. Like I don't know, man. I just
Gens are now slower. So you have 20 gen perks.
Like I get that it's like a kind of a problem with the game where like you know like the tempo for killers is hard. It's hard to like slow down the game sometimes when survivors are just rushing gens or whatever. But like. I don't think the fix is just like throwing in random perks that slow down the game, you know? Like, I feel like the fix needs to be like an actual game fix and not a perk fix, you know? Either way, that perk, I feel like we're rambling a bit. That perk is fucking useless, right? Like, not useless, but might as well be. Yeah, it's definitely low tier.
Let's go to a decent perk. Pop Goes the Weasel. A deep bond with the entity unlocks great strength. After hooking a survivor, the next generator break is instantly regressed by 25% of its total progression. Normal generator regression applies for after the damage is done. Pop Goes the Weasel is active for 30 seconds after the survivor is hooked.
So basically, after you hook somebody, you can go kick a gen and it gets regressed by a fuck ton instantly.
Also, Reox is here now, so...
Oh, shit.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Sorry, I didn't know we were doing the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't really know
it's
until
kind of
this morning either. Yeah, but we're here.
They give a 10-hour early warning. It's unfortunate. Don't worry about it. It's all good, my man.
You're here now. It doesn't matter. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Exactly, dude.
I'm good. Pop Goes the Weasel, huh?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Pop Goes the Weasel. How about it?
That's, in my opinion, probably the clown's best perk.
Really? You think it's better than Bamboozle?
Yeah, I do at least.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Maybe I just haven't used it like enough to really see, but okay. Well, how much does it regress at max rank? 20% or something?
25% total regression.
25%? That's a fourth of a gen. That's.
If you think about it, if you get it all 8 times, you've put back 2 full generators worth of progress.
Yeah, that's actually kind of neato, to be honest. The thing is that you're not always gonna find a gen that's worked on near.
Yeah,
someone
30
else.
seconds is way too low.
That's the point of it. Yeah, that's the weak part of it. And I guess that's the trade-off for its power is the actual time you have is limited. So
Yeah, it's definitely a neat perk. I like it. I mean, especially if you combo it with like overcharge or whatever, I guess it could be even cooler, you know? Like you're going around kicking gens, and then the gens are also gonna have the hard skill checks and bliggity bliggity blah blah. I feel like it would also be good on like really mobile killers too. You know what I mean? Like Billy, Nurse, because then they
Yeah.
can like they can hook someone and then go like right to the nearest gen like instantly. I don't know, man. Pretty cool perk. I dig it.
It's alright. It's
Yeah.
pretty nice. Next perk.
and then Bamboozle.
Here we
Dude,
have the final boss.
best name of a perk,
My
honestly.
Bamboozle. Before, let's just what it does. Your vault speed is 5, 10, 15% faster. Performing a vault calls upon the entity to block that vault location for 8, 12, 16 seconds.
guys, we
You
finally
can
done it.
bamboozle.
Gotten infinites.
It's pretty interesting. Like I kind of okay. I'll say this about Bamboozle. I love the whole like vaulting faster as killer. I think that's neat. I don't love it blocking the window. I really don't love that. I think the only time that that's necessary is if it's an infinite, which again I don't think infinite should be fixed by perks. I think they should just be not in the game. Like I think they should just make their maps not have infinites, you know? And every other window in the game that I know of, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but like pretty much every other window I know of in the game is pretty fair. Like Shack Pallet window, Jungle Gym windows, they all have like a means of outplaying them as killer. You know, they're not like so strong that you're helpless and you have to get the window blocked. You know what I mean? So I feel like adding this perk that like bad killers, it's another one of those perks that I feel like is just keeping killers from getting good. You know what I mean? Because now like a lot of killers aren't even gonna like learn how to outplay these windows. They're instead just gonna run Bamboozle and just hold W in space and keep vaulting and blocking the window. You know what I mean? And I don't like it. I think it's silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Right, Muffman, do you want to take the stage?
Yeah, I think it's a really poor idea because it's like, hey, now we have this perk that not only increases vault speed, which is probably one of the most useful stats you could get for these types of areas where you can, you know, shorten a mind game that someone would think otherwise. Like a lot of people, you'll play around how long something takes, and then Bamboozle will actually bamboozle you in that way. Right? It's kind of cool. It's you know, it's whatever. But instead of fixing old map design problems such as infinite, you therefore kill any single window tile and force them to change locations or drop the pallet. Not only because you block the window, but because you vault it faster, making less distance gain through a window vault from the survivor. So it really hard fucks windows. And I think it's a really poor idea because it fucks the game going forward. And perks that fuck the game going forward, I think are really bad design.
See, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing though. Like I think if someone is completely relying on like timing of like, you know, how long it takes a killer to vault a window and stuff, having a perk that throws that timing off.
I said that's good. I think that's the good part of it. The thing I don't think is the good part is you completely lose whatever tile you were playing as a survivor because they brought a perk in.
Yeah.
So you lost the Jungle Gym, you lost Shack, you even lose T-Walls because you only have one option, which makes it 100% mind gameable from a good killer's perspective.
Yeah.
You lose any infinite window, so which is a good thing, but those should be changed via map design to be normal windows. So you're forcing a perk now that's so good at dealing with so many maps busted ass windows that haven't been fixed in 2 years. And you're just making a perk that's really toxic to the actual map design of the future. So it fucks any single window tile setup that you have in the future that is actually somewhat balanced.
Yep, I
Or
totally
more
agree.
balanced. And so that's my biggest issue with it, is it's just bullshit in that regard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
a very good point.
I feel like when I'm playing as survivor or killer, I think the most fun I even have anymore is playing on like these windows that are actually balanced, you know? I love like playing against a good killer on like Shack or like Long Wall Jungle Gym because I'm curious to see how he plays it, you know what I mean? And then we always have these like crazy mind games, and you know, it's super fun. It's one of the only things like left in the game that are actually balanced on both sides, and you actually have to like predict what the other side's gonna do and try to outsmart them, you know what I mean? and then Bamboozle, like you said, just completely takes that away, you know? Instead of like having to outsmart, it's just like, let me just press spacebar. Windows gone, fuck you, you know? Like, I don't know, it just sucks, man. Takes away from the fun.
When you think about it, like, windows are the reusable resource. Pallets being thrown and broken, they're basically gone forever. So when you basically lock down that resource, like, this is what I'm thinking about, is you're doing the run, right? And if they don't have bamboozle, then you can do the loop a million times, or the clown can use their power to slow down the loop. And they're thinking, well, we need a fix for looping because that's basically what we talked about, like fixing palette loops. So then, oh, we'll introduce a teachable perk called Bamboozle, where the teachable perk allows the killer to vault and shuts down the window. So now it's the killer's choice whether they want to be looped on a window or not. And it's just like that map design is like not like it's like, are you tired of being looped? Then run Bamboozle. And it's like, come on, man.
Are windows too strong for you? Run Bamboozle.
Yeah, it's
Boy,
like,
Are
do we
you
have a
tired
thing for
of them
you.
running that cold what's it, cold town reef on you? Run Bamboozle and all
Tired
the
of
problems will go away today.
tired
Do
of
you
not getting
have
kills. Run Noed.
Was Bloodlust not good enough for you? Run Bamboozle. Get your Bamboozle today with the low price of $5 DLC.
The reason why I really enjoy Pop Goes the Weasel is because it's a reward for you doing well, and that's what I really enjoy. It's a perk that promotes hooking people, an activation on your perk, making you go away from the hook, hopefully, to kick a gen, and gives you 25% regression. That's why I like that a lot more than this Bamboozle perk, because that has a lot of layers to it. Bamboozle just seems like a cheese fest.
And get your Bloodlust Bamboozle window vault today at the low price of $5. Behavior interactive.
Are
Yeah.
T-Volts too complicated for you?
I love how Apple's like puts together this really well put together shot, and then it goes right back to Bamboozle views.
No, but on a serious note, it is. I really do like Pop Goes the Weasel. I feel like it's what something like Hex Ruin should have been in terms of a interactivity level and a power level. Where Hex Ruin makes you want to cry yourself to sleep, you know, whereas Pop Goes the Weasel, you don't fucking care, you know, it's cool. They're hooking different people, so you're not getting face cam. You should be happy about that, you know?
Yeah.
You know, if only I managed to get more than 4 or 5 hooks a game. Oh well, feels bad.
Yeah, that's still 125%, you know what I'm saying? That's still pretty good. If you can get it
You're
off
right.
every time.
That's a big if.
Yeah, no, I do really enjoy Pop Goes the Weasel. I do think it's
Yeah, I think
extremely
it's-
strong.
It's
I think
definitely a
it's-
nice perk.
I think it's somewhat underrated because a lot of people look at the aspect of, well, I only have 30 seconds. But I feel there's a lot of things that you should already know if you're paying attention. You'll know a generator somewhere has been done, you know? Or you can search out if you don't have that information for any places you haven't been in the game.
Have we talked about Pop Goes the Weasel's possible negativity? We
What's
talked about
that?
it yet?
That it's only 30 seconds.
Well, no. So basically, whenever I'm running Pop Goes the Weasel, there's already a meme going around with it in the community where it's just like, Pop Goes the Weasel, Omega lol, can't wait for the 3-gen strat with that, right? So it's just like, I could totally see a 3-gen strat happening with this perk. It's one of the
Yeah.
negative downsides I see with it,
I don't.
but
However, I think it's not as bad because
It's not.
the way it goes through isn't as like oppressive as say like if you camp a totem right beside 3 gens with Hex Root. That feels
reason-
way
yeah.
shittier.
I
the,
feel
the
like
reason I... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I feel like Pop Goes the Weasel actually does very little for you in 3-gen strat because from what I've seen playing against 3-gen strat, it's literally just a slugfest. You're not actually hooking people, so
Yeah, that's what I was
Why-
gonna say.
Why bring a
Yeah.
perk that requires you to hook people when you're not gonna hook people?
Yeah,
So-
the meme's kind of broken where if you do spend the time to get someone on the hook, then the generator time that they just did will be lost. But yeah, no, I agree. But it's just, it's just with these new introductions to these teachable perks, we have to really think about how they can be utilized on the different killers and how like badly they could be
And
used.
how much they affect the game going forward.
Yeah, like
I think
Pop
that's
Goes the
big
Weasel is going to be amazing on Nurse as our most teachable perks, but that's she can just go to any gen she wants, like especially if you know the timings of the gens. Just get some quick blinks over there, regress it by 25%, and then move on. It's gonna be crazy.
I mean, it's already like the thing about it is that most nurses don't run regression perks as it, or so I should say like game slowing perks as it is. You know what I mean? Like it's already one of those things where if you play a good nurse with like Hex Ruin, you're like, oh my god, Hex Ruin nurse. You know,
Right.
so it's already bad. Like if a nurse runs Ruin in like 3 blinks, you're fucking dead anyway. You know what I mean?
Now imagine Ruin 3 blinks and Pop Goes the Weasel.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just
Now we're
stack it
adding
on.
spice.
But I don't know. I feel like it is overall good. I feel like every single one of these problems that it could create comes from like just actual problems with the game that need to be addressed separately. You know, like 3-gen strat needs to be addressed
Yeah.
separately, and Nurse being insanely dominant needs to be probably addressed a little as well.
And I feel
Survivor's
the
having-
opposite. Go on
Yeah.
first.
Oh no, I was just gonna make a dumb comment about survivors having 2 perks that basically allow them to win in almost every situation that they
Oh,
can be
yeah.
put into.
And see, that's what I feel is another thing is why I don't like Bamboozle's design is because I think it does the exact opposite. I think Pop Goes the Weasel is something that has some problems that are like easily fixable, but I feel Bamboozle is the problem because it's a problem to a problem, you know? It's a solution to a problem that when that problem goes away then becomes the next problem. So you're just stacking a bunch of problems, and when does it go wrong, you know? Is there going to be a survivor perk to then like vault fast, go through one entity, block a window? Whoa!
Whoa!
And I don't like that whole road of going down the rabbit hole of stacking a problem on top of a problem, which creates a problem that solves a problem, which then gets solved to make another problem.
Dog, I heard you like problems.
Dude, there's a lot of problems. I
So you
love
put a
problems.
problem in your problems, so our problems can cause problems for your problems.
Exactly.
Dude, problemception right now, to be honest.
But yeah, that's my opinion on Bamboozle. I think it'll be a really great perk to run because Infinite suck dick and no one likes playing against them. But for the actual thinking of longevity of the game, which they seem to be pushing a lot, to me it seems like a really poor choice of a perk.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Is like they shouldn't be fixing infinites with perks though. Like again, I know
No.
I probably sound like a broken record, but like if that's really their main
yeah.
concern and why they created this perk, like why not just fix the fucking windows rather than making perks to like fix it? It's so stupid. Because it just destroys other aspects of the game. I feel like we've been going on about Bamboozle for this whole fucking podcast.
I mean,
Yeah, let's go on.
That's the end
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, we're definitely unhappy with it, but yeah.
I don't like using it
Guys,
as a killer.
here's a segue. How do you guys feel about the new fucking palettes, man? How do you guys feel about that? I
As a
personally,
Survivor main,
yeah,
As
I
a
love
killer
it.
main?
I love it. Yeah, as someone who
Ooh.
now plays more Survivor than Killer because Killer has been incredibly boring lately, I fucking love it, man. I think it's super cool. I haven't actually been playing that much, but I noticed that they, obviously removed vacuum, and every single pallet drop is like a slow, like you have to be on the other side, and then it's like an animation thing. It's not like a vacuum anymore. And on top of that, they also like shortened up some of the loops, which is basically
which
like
was
what
fantastic.
yeah, that's the stuff that we were like preaching for the longest time. You know?
Yeah. And the removal of infinites. Hey, we got half of them. Next update. DVD 3.0. But overall, I think it was a very good patch in terms of the balance, and it was really a step in the right direction for a lot of ways in terms of the base game getting fixed in multiple areas around pallets, vacuum pickup.
So, in terms of pallets, I've seen a lot of complaints about the pallets and stuff, and I really think that's just from comparison. I think that people miss being able to do the swirly dirly vacuum pallet, right?
72 hours special.
Yeah, I think they're fine. I think there's nothing wrong with the animation. It's not really buggy or anything. A lot of the complaints are just like, you know, I'm standing by a pallet, and then when I drop it, the killer lunges and swings through it and hits me like while the pallet drops. And it's like, yeah, well, that's called camping a pallet, and you mistimed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's always happened.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's solid. I haven't seen really any bugs with it. I enjoy that, like, a chase now in my mind is usually like, am I going to make this pallet? Instead of like, oh, there's a pallet there. I have like 10 feet in front of the pallet. I can just like fly to infinity through it. You know what I mean? There's like no risk.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot more that way.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. What was I gonna say? Oh, this is a minor thing, but from picking up a ton of survivors already from this patch, the non-vacuum pickup, I don't miss the vacuum pickup. I just think that the pickup is like ultra precise right now, and it's really annoying for like, this is like a first world problem, I guess. It's just like really annoying for a streamer who's trying to read chat and just hit spacebar and just fucking pick up the survivor. Like, please just pick them up.
I've noticed that too. I've noticed that too. I'll down someone and I'll just walk around spamming spacebar while reading chat.
Walk around for like 4 seconds, just like, where the fuck is this survivor?
And I have to look back and be like, bitch, where are you?
Yeah. So, anyways, that's just my like little first world problem there. But
for me, I love the change because I like when I die at a pallet that they can't just
Yeah, I mean,
away from it.
Yeah, I
just.
I feel like it actually gives strength to like that kind of strategic positioning, you know. Like for instance, I've always told people that like get camped by killers and then get saved with borrowed time and then tunneled off the hook even though they have borrowed time. Like people people get in situations like that all the time, and I've always told them like, hey, if you're in a situation like that where like you get unhooked, he immediately like hits you and you go into borrowed time state. Like, run to a pallet, man. That's always what I've told people. That's always like what I've done. It's always like what I've done myself too. And now that's even stronger, you know, because like before, even then, sometimes you get fucked by like the pallet vacuum. But you know, now that's even stronger still. Like if you're in a situation like that, you can run to a pallet, just like let him down you at the pallet. As long as your teammates are nearby, you know, they're there to make a play, and he actually has to like play around it rather than it just being like free.
Yeah.
Adds a whole new depth of teamwork or whatever.
Pretty good changes.
Yeah, I honestly like them. Like, obviously, I obviously want more changes to come, but you know, obviously they're not gonna fucking happen all at once. It's not like the game is just gonna become perfect in like one patch. But
oh yeah,
I do think that the changes they made, yeah, they're definitely going a good direction. I agree.
Something.
You know what
oh, go ahead.
You know what the next good step would be in the right direction? Rework sprint burst, please. Thank you.
Yeah, agreed. Fucking agreed, dude.
Fuck that. Like, they're just not gonna remove it because, you know, that'd be dumb. Just don't remove the perk. But it's like, sprint burst having no prerequisite to triggering the incredibly strong movement speed boost as opposed to every other exhaustion perk in the game that just needs to go.
I also think that exhaustion in general is just such a strong mechanic that could be looked at.
Yeah, I think
because regardless, even balanced landing, I would consider one of the best perks of Survivor if all the other bullshit exhaustion perks didn't exist. Because that speed boost is so well, yeah, of course. Now that you get the fall stun stagger gone, it is so useful for so many situations, and you gain way too much distance.
I really think that that's the main thing that they need to look at. Like I think like having the perks in the game aren't a bad thing, but like the amount of speed and the amount of time that you have that speed have always been ridiculous, man. Like it's fucking insane. I don't know why.
It's the one thing they haven't touched. They've touched cooldown, but it obviously doesn't work because it doesn't matter if I have like a 5-minute cooldown on my sprint burst. If it wastes like 40 seconds of the killer's time because I go from a dead zone to a fucking entire jungle gym or main building, you know?
Yeah, it's really silly. Honestly, I remember the first day that they nerfed sprint burst or whatever. I mean, it was ridiculous back when it was on like what, like a 20-second
20
cooldown or
seconds,
some
no,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it moved to like a 40-second, and then I think they did it
40
again.
with exhaustion.
Yeah, and now it's on like 60, right? Is it on 60 now or is it still
No,
on 40?
it's on 40 with the twice as long.
Oh, yeesh. But
So technically 80.
yeah, I don't know. I still think that like the cooldown obviously isn't the fucking problem. Like the problem is obviously the amount of speed and how long you have that speed. Like it's pretty crazy how much distance you can make up on a killer, you know?
Yeah, the problem is basically just as Mathman said, there's literally no situation as a killer if you find someone they have sprint burst. Well, you can see them at the next pallet already. You're not even gonna get a hit in. It's actually smarter to not lunge because they're gonna gain even more distance if you do.
So, I think a good thing to talk about in terms of like general changes with the patch is whatever side you're playing, you know, killer, survivor, it doesn't matter. It's always good to think about when you see changes like Macmillan Estate, for example, like those maps have been changed. The pallet loops have been changed on Macmillan Estate to have a much higher object, so you can't see over them, which is supposedly to help for mind gaming the loop. But that's also essentially like a shadow nerf to Michael, Huntress, basically anyone who requires sight on loops, right? So it's always good to think about certain things like that. Like even if you don't think about it like that much, it's just like, oh, they did some stuff to the loops. Like when I was reading the patch notes, it's just like, well, what did you do to them? You know what I mean? Like
They increased their fun factor.
Right, yeah. Did you guys talk about that? The patch notes?
No, their patch notes are always terrible. So.
Yeah,
yeah,
they
sorry.
really are. I mean, I think we've talked about that pretty much every single patch, how bad they are.
Yep.
I really
and how
wish...
they don't implement everything and they don't give details
Yeah.
and they shadow nerf. No, not even shadow nerf, but they don't include things.
Yeah, like
The patch notes
people
are basically
human. So obviously they'll maybe forget to write something, but it is sometimes ridiculous how many things will change, you know, and you don't know if it's a bug or not.
Right.
Like, they're always like, if it's not in the patch notes, it's a bug. But then you go talk about it, and they're like, nah, that's not a bug. It's like, so what is it then? Is it a bug? Is it not a bug? Help me out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on top of that, it would also be nice if the patch notes were the patch notes were like more specific. It's kind of like you said, like they'll say stuff like we changed pallets, and it's like what, explain what you did, explain, and even like explaining why. Like I've been like I've played a bunch of other video games, and I've seen other companies do patch notes, you know. And it's always so much better when you'll like even like explain a little bit of the reasoning behind doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like give like a quick like paragraph at the top, just being like, hey guys, like these are the problems that we were trying to tackle. This is what we're trying to do, and then give you the notes, you know, and then give you like more specific notes of like what was done. I feel like they just like throw together their patch notes in like 5 minutes, and just like post them. It's just, I don't know, man. It's depressing. I wish they were better.
Yeah. Their patch notes really feel like they're in the office and they're preparing to launch a patch, and some guy in the back's like, do we have patch notes?
Like, fuck no, we didn't make any patch notes. Shit.
Guys, put shit together right now.
Danny, get the fucking patch notes. And you're just like furiously typing shit.
What did we do to the pallet loops? We increased the fun factor.
They're more
The
fun
entire
now.
office just goes,
What can I make up this time, guys? Help me out here. Matt, what did you do for maps? I changed some power loops. All right, increased fun factor.
Increased fun factor, brother. No, but seriously, like I don't know if they don't realize like how important that is. You know, like it might not seem like much to them, maybe, but like that's like literally the set thing that everyone uses as far as like what's getting changed about the game. You know what I mean? Like anyone who doesn't work at behavior doesn't know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? So they look at those patch notes and they're like, these are all the changes that are happening to the game. And when that's like vague or things are missing, you know what I mean? That sucks. That's not good. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just some like constructive criticism to behavior is, you know, whenever like we're trying to get something and like push something out, it's just like in the memeiest way, like everything's like a joke or like the cool uncle sort of like, yeah, we're a cool gaming company, you know, like everything's relaxed and chilled. But then like here's a good example. You go to the dev stream to learn some information, and they start off the dev stream with Michael likes to party. I immediately stopped watching the dev stream after watching that video. Like in my opinion, it's completely inappropriate for the devs to like do shit like that when it's like how they're being perceived. Like regardless of whether or not it's a fan made thing, it's just like that's dumb. This is the dev stream. I understand if you don't have updates, that's something, but like that's an entirely different issue. But like a good thing to talk about is like when Dave McCote and Janik? I don't remember
Janik?
his Janik, yeah. They were talking about the doctor thing not being a heal anymore, which I heard you guys touch on.
Yeah.
Like that's like when they were actually being serious, then misinformation started to spread. Because I immediately went to the dev Discord and I was like, what's going on? Like you guys said before that this is a heal. Like what's happening?
And
So-
I even mentioned that it's not consistent at all.
Yeah, the
Yeah, that's what I
consistency
said too.
and professionalism, in my opinion, is like kind of wavering sometimes, and it's leading to like really weird patch notes and inconsistencies, and it's just like, what's happening? But
Yeah, it's honestly that's like even when I read them, they increased the fun factor on palette loops. That just also kind of felt really inappropriate. They didn't tell me anything. And
yeah, there's no
it's like
specifics.
why? Just say you changed the palette loops. Why do you have to put it like that?
Yeah, I agree. It does seem like one of those like, I think you put it right with like the whole cool uncle thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like when, like, don't get me wrong, I love when companies do that, like, to an extent. You know, I love when companies try to be like humorous and joke around and aren't super serious all the time. But you need to also get the serious information out there as well.
Exactly.
You know, like as
Like-
long as the information's getting out there, then you can be as goofy and silly as you want. But like if you're being so goofy and silly to the point where people don't even know what the fuck's going on, then it's like, all right, come on, like, get your shit together and be
Yeah.
at least a little professional, you know? Which I know is kind of ironic coming from me. I'm like the least professional person in the fucking world, but you know.
Yeah, I don't think I have a ground to stand on either in that.
Yeah, but still, I'm also not the owner of a game that has like 20,000 people on it at any given time, so I'm gonna take that as my excuse.
Yeah,
But regardless, yeah, I mean that's just constructive feedback. I think all of us here, you know, like the game and like the company, and we just want to see them do well, you know.
Exactly.
And like the people there, like all the people I've met at Behavior are fantastic fucking people.
Yeah, dude, I do.
Yeah,
I love
so
the team.
I was
chill.
gonna say.
If you ever meet them in person, they're like so kind to you and they're so nice, they're so inviting and welcoming, and they're just happy to work on the game and talk about it, you know? They're passionate about what they do.
Exactly, dude. I think McCody just seems like one of the genuinely nicest people I've ever seen.
Like, I can say from PAX, it was like about 2 years ago, right after the game had come out, like a couple months after, I'd already clocked in 550 hours of Mr. No Life here. And I was just like talking to him, and he was so like happy. He was like, dude, I can't believe you love our game so much. You know, he was only supposed to give out one of those cosmetic skins. He's like, you know what? Just for you, I'm going to give you 5. Give one to every single friend you want to play with. You know, Survive with Friends just came out. You can give it to that. And he gave me 2 of the Chuckle Masks as well. He's like, also give that to a friend, you know? I appreciate you being here and being so passionate about the game. So I just want to, like, you know, thank you for it. It's so awesome to see. He's such a genuine guy.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
they're cool guys, man. I love them.
They are.
Hell yeah. Since, you know, I feel like we've talked about most of the things we want to talk about, before we just completely forget that Kate Denson even exists, do we want to, like, go over her perks quickly?
Like, yeah, I guess we could. I kind of did forget about Kate Denson. Yeah.
I honestly did forget about her too.
Yeah. Isn't she
Sure.
like another licensed character, or am I wrong here?
I'm pretty sure no.
Huh. Oh well. Anyways, her perks. Let's top to bottom. Dance with me. When performing a fast vault or leaving a locker in a sprint, you leave no scratch marks for 3 seconds. Dance with me has a cooldown of 60, 50, 40 seconds.
Oh right, Neato. That one's actually kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. When you fast vault or like leave a locker quickly or whatever, you don't leave scratch marks. That's interesting. Definitely interesting.
A problem I have with this perk is I mean, yes, that's the point of the perk, but it just feels really confusing to play against as a killer, because you don't know if it's a perk or if it's a bug.
Yeah, true.
It's like, is this just
scratch
being
marks are
scratch
already
marks?
yeah, like scratch marks are already
Is
bad.
this, yeah. Is this scratch mark speed just not working correctly, or is this the perk? And then I checked the lobby at the end of the game, it's like they didn't even have the perk, and I'm just like, oh,
okay, then, Manila, okay.
okay. That's just a big fat K. But yeah, dance with me. Any other opinions on that?
Yeah, it's kind of a meh perk to me. Like,
Yep.
yeah, you know,
No real
like
opinions.
I feel like I actually had someone talk to me about this. You guys know them, Fox Ghosts, the
Yeah.
streamer. I was playing against them, and they were running the perk in like a new build, and they're like, "Did I trick you at all?" And I'm like, "No." Like during a chase, like I don't remember ever being lost by that perk. You know, like just keep your eye on the survivor, easy. You know. So,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't really
the
think it
perk's
would
kinda
be that
weird.
big of a deal, honestly. Like, I can't think of a situation where that would, like, really help you. Like, when a survivor vaults, it's pretty easy to just keep an eye out, you know what I mean? Like, and, like, exiting a locker is, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, usually you're not going to exit a locker near a killer anyway, so, like, I don't know. It just seems, the whole thing just seems weird. I don't really understand, like, I don't really understand when it's useful, you know?
Yep. Alright. Next perk. Windows of Opportunity. Unlocks potential in one's aura reading ability. Auras of pallets and vaults are revealed to you when within a range of 20 meters. Windows of Opportunity has a cooldown of 60, 50, 40 seconds when vaulting or dropping a pallet during a chase.
Now hear me out. What if this perk didn't have a cooldown?
Yikes.
Okay, sorry. Hear me out. What if it didn't have a 1 minute to 40-second cooldown? That's like trying to tell me that's as useful as Sprint Burst is.
Yeah, right, and it's definitely not.
And
I feel like...
that is not.
I'd be...
I was just gonna say, at first glance, this seems like a perk that's like more catered to like noobers.
Noobs.
Yeah, because they're like they don't know where the spawns are and shit, so they use this perk to like figure. I feel like most experienced, like the only thing I think that it would be useful for like experienced players would be like knowing what pallets are used and what aren't. You know, like I feel like I
think
could.
that's actually extremely useful.
Yeah, I was gonna say that though, and that's why I said at first glance I thought it was only like
Yeah.
like a for noobs perk, but yeah, I think it actually would be pretty useful even.
I think if it didn't have a cooldown, I think the perk would actually be too strong. I don't think a lot of people agree with me, but that's my personal thought.
No, I think it would be too if it didn't
Actually,
have a cooldown.
knowing every single window you have, and more importantly, the pallets that are used, it makes every single chase, aside from first chase, even the ones in first chase, on maps that have random pallets and window spawns, it helps so much on those maps. Like, you can just run around without having giving a shit in the world of having explored the map or any idea, and just constantly run to whatever you have next, because 20 meters is a fairly big range to choose your next destination.
Yeah, for sure.
That's 5 seconds in advance that you know where you're going.
Also, what I really like about this perk is I think it's very comparable to Bond, because Bond is arguably one of the strongest survivor perks, and as a killer you will never notice that they even have it, which I think is just amazing for survivor perks. And it allows you, you know, as you guys already said, it allows you to plan ahead, and I think that's definitely something that survivors need more of. like more perks that allow you to plan ahead or like just plan more than perks, you know, like sprint burst or to like me press shift, me move fast, killer me not catch me, you know.
I don't think this perk is like overpowered really by any means, and I'm not like super impressed by it or anything.
Well, right now, no, I agree. 40-second
Yeah.
cooldown on that effect is
And a
garbage.
20-meter range.
I'd say the 20 meters is fine, but not for how long you have to wait in between uses of it. I think it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I don't even think at 20 seconds it would be a very good perk.
It should be like 8 or 10 seconds, I feel.
I feel like right now the main use of it would be like late game if you're getting chased. You know what I mean? You would run around and like see what
Yeah.
pallets are used and aren't used, and you just have to like remember in your head so that when it goes on cooldown, you're like, okay, like I know that this, that, and like wasn't used. But even that is still like, if you compare
It's
it to the
still not
value of
good.
other perks, yeah, it's still not very good. It's pretty bad. It's an
Like, I
interesting
would
idea
love if it
though.
was on a much shorter cooldown, like 15, 20 seconds. Even though I don't think it would be that good, I would still use it because I think it'd be fun, you know?
Yeah, it definitely is fun, and I don't think it's like oppressive to play against either as like a
No,
killer, which
and
is
Vision's
Exactly.
always fun to have. Knowing where shit is, like, over other people feels good in my opinion. Just like Vaughn, you know?
yeah.
Just like
Yeah, that's what I
barbecue
was
and
saying.
chili. Seeing auras is just like, ooh, I feel so powerful.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
have
I
the
do.
knowledge.
The concept
My
of it's
power
definitely
ramp-ups,
cool though.
the perk's underrated, but cool.
You know what I value more than moving at 150% movement speed for 3 seconds? Knowledge.
Hell yeah, dude.
Knowledge.
All about
Yeah,
that
Knowledge.
That'd be a
Knowledge.
good one.
Yo, hit me with that final perk.
Alright, final perk. Boil over.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
You're a battler and you do everything to escape a foe's grasp. Your struggling effects on the killers are increased by 25, 50, 75%. You obscure the
Neat.
killer's ability to see hook auras within 10, 12, 14 meters.
Oh, neato. All right, I think it's important to say, you know, I'm pretty sure people probably know this by now, but just in case, like that means that the amount that he like moves side to side while you're wiggling is increased, not like you escape from the grass that much faster, because that would be fucking stupid. But
I remember.
I feel
yeah,
like it's just
everybody
important to
thought
say
was
that.
the case at first.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that right off the bat, just so people don't get like the wrong idea. This perk is, I mean,
Terrible.
yeah.
I think this perk is the prime definition of mild inconvenience.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
would say it is very fun to use when the killer has agitation. That is something that I'm happy about.
Yeah, honestly, even with agitation without boil over, sometimes like when they're wiggling, it gets a little crazy. So I imagine with boil over, it'd probably be pretty silly, but it's still like it just doesn't seem like when the fuck would I run boil over? Like it just seems so bad, honestly. Like
The only situation where boil over is actually kind of great, and I've had this happen to me as a killer, is in the asylum map in the treatment theater. Because there's just so many narrow doorways, it'll happen a lot of time that you try to go through a doorway and you'll like sway to the left and the right as you try to go through it. So you constantly have to readjust yourself, and it just kind of is a mess.
Yeah,
Yeah, other than that, it's just kind of useless.
seems like a pretty niche perk. Which I mean, it's fine. You know, if you want to make some niche perks, it's cool.
I think
Maybe
that's good.
yeah, give you that like that 1 in 100 poggers moment.
Yeah, where
Yeah,
you know
well, they get,
they
like-
pop.
They get pulled away from the hook and then you escape.
Yeah.
I think perk designs like that are actually good because they're not busted OP, but they're still fun. And whenever they get off, it feels really good, like you achieve something magical. You know? Yeah, but when you play with something like bamboo,
Getting off feels really good.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does. But then when you
Yeah,
press
sorry.
spacebar with bamboozle, you just it's like, wow, I pressed spacebar. That was magical, guys.
Monka TOS. Yeah. Now I do want to say, if like anybody's watching right now, just because we say like it's a meh perk doesn't mean it's like super like bad by any means. Sometimes I'd rather it be meh than like fuck this
That's
perk.
what I mean. Yeah,
Exactly,
no, I
yeah.
agree. That's what I'm saying.
I honestly, I think we've talked about this before. I would like it more if every perk was a meh perk, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I
Still
think the
pop up
reason
there.
why perks like that are meh is because of how strong other perks are. You know, if Sprint Burst wasn't Sprint Burst, then other perks wouldn't be so meh anymore. You know, it's just
Exactly.
you have to compare every perk to like the strongest perks, because you're like, why would I run this over, you know, Sprint Burst, Bond, Self Care, you know, or whatever the fuck, you know. So
Adrenaline,
Yeah.
too, you know, those types of things, and I think that's the issue, is that every perk will forever be overshadowed by whatever 4 or 5 completely busted perks are currently, you know, the killer's tools.
yep, and then yep, that's why they should be probably toned down a little.
Yep. So, I guess final words about Boil Over. Pretty shit, but it does, I guess you could say it does allow you to boil some killer plans. Haha.
Over. Okay, it was a good one. I liked it.
I'm sorry for that.
It's
Oh,
okay,
well.
man. I forgive you. It was okay.
Hey, come on, it's German. It's German humor. It's no laughing matter.
That's right. That's right. So, what else are we? What else are we hitting on this podcast? Is this gonna be like our first actual like around an hour or under an hour
No,
podcast?
that, you know,
This is an
honestly,
hour.
it could be. I think that's.
I think we should stop here, yeah.
Yeah.
We still
That's
have. We still have that email from.
Oh, I was
Grossness.
gonna say, I was literally
But like,
just thinking
I
that.
kind of want to not read it
email.
just to see how bad he gets. To be honest.
Yeah,
Keep them
exactly.
going.
No, it's the fact that that email is so long. It's gonna take us an entire episode, and I think we should either do it like next week or maybe like try to find 40 minutes to just talk about it in the upcoming week.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We'll do
Smith.
it on
We
whatever
love you,
week is
but-
a really dead week that we have nothing to meme about.
Yeah. I
Except
agree.
I feel bad, but
I think we can maybe just take a whole day to do like emails. Honestly.
Yeah,
Our
that'd
whole
be a good
podcast.
idea.
he's getting mad in your chat, Toph.
I see. I knew it. I knew it.
Right on.
Man, no, I
Thanks.
I think that was good. I think it was good talk about stuff and a good.
It was a good talk, yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. So
Good episode.
are we wrapping it up, boys?
I'm wrapping it.
All right.
Down.
Do you guys got any final closing words here?
We'll make more bamboozles.
Sorry for being late. I already P3'd my clown. He's kind of fun and pretty good patch.
Yeah. Get clowning.
Hell yeah, dude. Hells to the yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I think that's everything,
Sounds
dude.
pretty fun.
Thanks everybody for stopping in and watching. We got me. I'm Otofu. I stream on twitch.tv/Otofu. You guys don't know. We have Ryux Apples, Killer Main, also general awesome human being. Streams on twitch.tv/Ryux_apples. Mathman200, who is also generally awesome human being. Doesn't stream as much anymore, but he does. But he does have a
Mathman.
stream at twitch.tv/Mathman200. Also an awesome human being. And we have Atro, our German memer, the guy who brought us all here. He's
yeah.
like the glue that holds us together.
It's
Sorry,
pretty
I
shitty-
was
pretty
getting tier
shitty glue.
3'd by a Myers. And yeah, thank you guys all for stopping in and hanging out. All the links for all that will be below the chat. Adriel also has a YouTube channel, by the way, where he posts pretty fucking silly, memey shit. That's really the only thing
I
you
just-
have, though, right?
Yo,
Like,
they're
you-
actually
That's
hilarious.
the only
Yeah,
thing I
Atro
do on that channel is I like get a weird idea at 2 a.m. and I'll throw together a shitty meme in Sony Vegas and I post it and then get sad that it only got like 12 views.
they deserve more than 12 views because your shit's actually pretty fucking hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway.
Oh, stop it.
Anyway, we should probably get out of here. Thank you guys for watching.
Oh,
We
yeah.
appreciate it.
Alright.
Feel free to send us emails. We'll probably do a whole podcast answering emails at some point. So feel free to email us at daylightcastpodcast@gmail.com, which that will be
Got it.
below the video as well. Hit us up at
Amazing.
that Daylightcast podcast. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for hanging.
I'll see ya.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
see you later, guys.
See ya.
See ya.